Good morning, student. Student, in our previous lectures, I have told you that the haloalkanes may show the chain isomerism, position isomerism, and optical isomerism. And if you remember, in our last discussion, we started a discussion of optical isomerism. What were optical isomers? Those isomers which have the same physical and the chemical properties. Those isomers which have the same physical and the chemical properties, but differ in their behavior towards the plane polarized light, were called optical isomers, and the phenomena was called as optical isomerism. I told you in the previous lecture, if they rotate the plane polarized light towards right side, that were called as a dextro-rotatory isomer. And if they rotate the plane polarized light towards the left side, that were called as a levio-rotatory isomer. Am I clear? I also discussed with you the racemic mixture, the equimolar mixture of two foams, that is the D and L foam, which are optically inactive due to external compensation, was called as a racemic mixture. Now listen very carefully, student, the lecture of the day. I told you the compound which rotate the plane polarized light towards the right or towards the left are optically active. And the optical rotation could be measured by the use of an instrument, polarimeter. But if by seeing the structure, we need to find out that whether the molecule will be optically active or not, then what are the essential conditions for the compound to show optical activity? Remember, one and the foremost important essential condition for the compound to show optical activity is that their mirror images should be non-superimposable mirror image. So I am writing it as an important point, essential condition for compound to show optical activity. Essential condition for compound to show optical activity. For compound to show optical activity. Essential condition for compound to show optical activity is that their mirror images should be non-superimposable mirror images. Is that their mirror images should be non-superimposable mirror image. Their mirror images should be non-superimposable mirror image. Mirror images should be non-superimposable mirror image. Their mirror image should be non-superimposable mirror image. Am I clear? Non-superimposable mirror image. So what is an essential condition for a compound to show optical activity? The mirror image should be non-superimposable mirror image. Now, how do we come to know that the compound has a non-superimposable mirror image? For compound to have a non-superimposable mirror image, it should not have a plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry. Am I clear? Of which I will be discussing as per the syllabus with you, as per the NCERT book, the plane of symmetry. Am I clear? So for a compound to show optical activity, it should have a non-superimposable mirror image, and for a compound to have a non-superimposable mirror image, you should not have a plane of symmetry. For a compound to have non-superimposable mirror image, for a compound to have non-superimposable mirror images, for a compound to have non-superimposable mirror image, it should not have number one, plane of symmetry. It should not have a plane of symmetry. Number second, center of symmetry. Am I clear? And number third will be, or C will be, alternating axis of symmetry. Alternating axis of symmetry. So for a compound to have non-superimposable mirror image, it should not have a plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and a alternating axis of symmetry. Of this I will be discussing in the class 12th in this discussion. Only in brief the plane of symmetry, just to keep you to exactly to the board syllabus, and so that you do not get any confusion. Am I clear? Howsoever, it is observed that if the compound have a plane of symmetry, they do have a alternating alternating axis of symmetry. Now, what I am teaching to you, optical isomerism. What is optical isomerism? Those compounds which have the same physical and chemical properties but differ in their behavior towards the plane polarized light. They are called as optical isomers. If they rotate the light toward the right side, they are dextrorotatory. If they rotate toward the left side, they are levorotatory. Am I clear? What is an essential condition for a compound to show optical activity? The mirror images should be non-superimposable. Whose compound or which compound mirror images will be non-superimposable? Those compounds which do not have a plane of symmetry. Am I clear? Their mirror images will be non-superimposable. What is plane of symmetry? Plane of symmetry is that imaginary plane which divides the molecule into two equal halves. Am I clear? So if I define the plane of symmetry, what do I mean by a plane of symmetry? Plane of symmetry. It is an imaginary plane. It is an imaginary plane. Imaginary plane which divides the molecule into two equal halves. Which divides the molecule into two equal halves. Molecule into two equal halves. Am I clear? So that imaginary plane which divides the molecule into two equal halves is called as a plane of symmetry. As for example, if I look at the cricket ball, a leather ball, I think it can be divided into two equal halves like this. So this is said to be having a plane of symmetry. This is said to be having a plane of symmetry. Howsoever, if I look at the human hand, if I look at the human hand, this way, can I divide this into two equal halves? No. Either I divide from here or here. It cannot be divided into two equal halves because all the fingers are not equal. So it does not have a plane of symmetry. So it lacks the plane of symmetry. There will be no plane of symmetry. Am I clear, student? Now, the organic compound which do not have any plane of symmetry, its mirror image will always be non-superimposable. And when its mirror image will be non-superimposable, that compound will be optically active. That means it will be showing optical isomerism. What do I mean by this? If I show you this my left hand, you can see this, and this is my right hand. If I try to superimpose my right hand over the left hand, you may see they are not superimposing. The thumb of this lower hand is toward the left, this side, and thumb of the upper hand is toward this side. So these are non-superimposable mirror images. I mean to say they do not have a plane of symmetry, so their mirror images are non-superimposable. So those compounds will be optically active. Optically active means they may rotate the light either toward the right side or towards the left side. So for a compound to have non-superimposable mirror image, it should not have a plane of symmetry. Plane of symmetry is an imaginary plane which divides the molecule into two equal halves. Am I clear, student? Now, how to look or what to look in an organic compound which indicates that it may not have a plane of symmetry, or it will be non-superimposable mirror image which will show optical isomerism. Always remember, any organic compound which contain one chiral carbon atom. Chiral carbon atom means chirality center. A carbon atom which is bonded to 4 different atomo group will never have a plane of symmetry, and its mirror images will be non-superimposable, and that compound will always be optically active. So, chiral carbon atom, or some of the people pronounce it as chiral or chiral carbon atom. Believe me, this is the Greek word which has been obtained from the spelling K-I-R-A-L. So, this is chiral. So, chiral or chiral carbon atom. What is this? A carbon atom bonded to 4 different atomo group is a chiral or chiral carbon atom. Am I clear? A compound having at least one chiral carbon atom will always be optically active, as its mirror images are non-superimposable. So what is chiral carbon atom? A carbon atom bonded to 4 different atoms of group. Carbon atom bonded to 4 different atoms. Carbon atom bonded to 4 different atoms or groups is chiral carbon atom. Is called as a chiral carbon atom. Am I clear? You may look at this one. This is C. This is bonded to A, bonded to B, bonded to C, and bonded to D. This carbon atom is bonded to 4 different atomo group. So this carbon atom will be called as chiral carbon atom. Look at this one. This is C. This will be CS3. This is suppose H. This is C2H5. And this is Cl. This carbon atom is bonded to 4 different atomo group. So this will be called as a chiral carbon atom. A compound having at least one chiral carbon atom. I am not going for the multiple chiral sentence because in the syllabus it is only one chiral carbon atom. Compound having at least one chiral carbon atom will never have a plane of symmetry, and its mirror images will always be non-superimposable. So as a note I am writing it as a compound having one chiral carbon atom, having one chiral carbon atom, one chiral carbon atom. Am I clear? Compound having one chiral carbon atom will never have any plane of symmetry. Will never have any plane of symmetry. Hence, its mirror images. Hence, its mirror images will be non-superimposable mirror images. Hence, its mirror images will be non-superimposable mirror images. That is, it will always be optically active. That is, it is optically active compound. Optically active compound. And hence will show optical isomerism. Am I clear? Compound having only one chiral center will never have any plane of symmetry. Hence, its mirror images will be non-superimposable mirror images. Thus, it is optically active compound. Am I clear? So, what is the essential condition for compound to show optical activity? Its mirror image should be non-superimposable. Which compound will be non-superimposable mirror image? Which have at least one chiral carbon atom. The condition is clear. Now, I will explain to you what do I mean by enantiomers. Now, enantiomers. What do I mean by the word enantiomers? What are enantiomers? So, students, compounds which are mirror images of each other but are non-superimposable, they are called as enantiomers. So, compounds which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are called as enantiomers. Compounds which are non-superimposable, compounds which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are enantiomers. In fact, when I say they are non-superimposable mirror image, so they will be optically active. So, compound which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are called enantiomers. Which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are called enantiomers. These are called as enantiomers. Just see this one. If I say, you can see this P. Yes? If I write down the non-superimposable mirror image, it will be something written like this. Pick this up, push it down. Like the left hand over the, or right hand over the left hand. So, they will be non-superimposable mirror image. Such compounds will be called as optically active. So, enantiomers are enantiomeric pairs are optically active isomers. So, they are optically active isomers. So, these are optically active isomers. Am I clear? Suppose if I say A written like this, I put the mirror over here, this is mirror. Here again this is mirror. So, how will I make the A over here? It will be a non-superimposable mirror image. Just see over here, this will be making the non-superimposable mirror image. It will be A, it will be non-superimposable to this. If I make the mirror image, just see over here, its mirror image will again be like A. It will be this way. Yes or not? So, these are superimposable. Am I clear? So, this will be optically inactive. Can you tell me the reason? because it has a plane of symmetry. And these are non-superimposable. Non-superimposable. So this will be optically active. And this will form a pair of enantiomer. Just see this example. C. This is Cl. This is CS3. This is a C2H5. And this is a, let me say, C3H7. Yes? Now, is this carbon atom bonded to 4 different atomo group? Yes. So, is it having a chiral carbon atom? Yes. How many chiral carbon atom? 1. A compound having 1 chiral carbon atom will never have a plane of symmetry, and hence its mirror images will be non-superimposable and compound will be optically active. So, if I put a mirror over here, mirror images will be this way. This is C. Yes or not? This will be Cl. This over here will be Cl. This will be again H3 and C. Yes. This will be C, or I must say C, then 2. This is C, 2, H, and 5. Yes or not, student? Similarly over here, this will be C, this will be 3, this will be H, and this will be 7. So, you may see over here, these two images are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, and hence this compound will be optically active compound. Am I clear, student? This carbon atom is a chiral carbon atom because it is bonded to 4 different atomo group. The mirror images over here are non-superimposable, and hence the compound will be optically active. So always remember, compound having only 1 chiral carbon atom will always produce non-superimposable mirror image, as it does not have a plane of a symmetry, and hence that compound will always and always be optically active. So, what are enantiomeric pair? They are those pairs which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Are they optically active? Yes. Why? Just see. If suppose I measure by polarimeter and it rotates the light toward the right side, that will be called as a dextro-rotatory isomer. So naturally its non-superimposable mirror image will rotate the light towards the left side, and that will be called as a Levio-rotatory isomer. Am I clear? And the compound will be said to be optically active in nature. Now, one question that must have been coming to your mind is that if we do not have a polarimeter, how do we come to know whether it will rotate the light toward the right or toward the left? We have a golden rule for that, but since that is not to be discussed in the class 12 syllabus, I am not going into detail of that. There is a form of nomenclature in the organic chemistry which is called as RNS form, rectus and the sinister form, which normally is required at certain level of an entrance examination. Am I clear? So, is it clear, student? Now, enantiomeric pairs are clear. Now, 2 more terms I will teach to you, and that is racemic modification. These terms are racemic modifications. Students, in our previous lecture, I told you racemic form is an equimolar mixture of D and L form and was optically inactive form. So, D plus L form, or we may say DL form, or positive negative form. This form is a racemic mixture and optically inactive form. This is racemic mixture and optically inactive. Am I clear? If the racemic mixture is resolved into optically active isomer, suppose if I say it is resolved into D form or positive form, that means dextro-rotatory form, that is dextro-rotatory form, or it is resolved into L form or negative form, that means it is lavio-rotatory form. This will be a optically active form. This is optically active, and this form again will be optically active. This process is called as a racemic modification, which may also be called as a racemization. Am I clear? These terms will be utilized in the later part of the chapter. So this will be called as racemization. So conversion of optically active racemic mixture into the conversion of optically inactive racemic mixture into optically active D or L form is called as a racemization or racemic modification. Am I clear? Now one more term. This is a Walden inversion. What do we mean by the Walden inversion? Suppose substrate has D form, and when the attacking reagent attack on this convert into L form. So there is an inversion of configuration from right side rotation to left side rotation, or conversion of L form into D form. This is called as Walden inversion. So during the chemical reaction, if the dextro-rotatory form, that is a positive form, changes in positive form, right side rotation changes into left side rotation, that is conversion of D into L, or negative rotation changes into the positive rotation, this is called as Walden inversion. So what is Walden inversion? The conversion of one of the optically active form into another optically active form, that is D into L or L into D, is called as a Walden inversion. And one more term, that is retention. What do I mean by retention? Suppose the substrate has D configuration, and when the attacking reagent attack on the substrate, the product also have a D configuration. There is no change in configuration on the chiral center. That will be called as a retention of configuration. Suppose this is L at the chiral center. L means negative at the chiral center, and this again remains L, that is negative at the chiral center. This will be called as a retention of a configuration. So retention of spatial arrangement of atom or group around the chiral center is called as retention, and if it is changed from D to L or L to D, it will be called as a inversion of configuration. Suppose if I say, because the detail is not to be discussed in the +2 syllabus, if this structure rotate the structure into right side and it react with the reagent to form the product, and product also rotate the light toward the right side and is optically active, so that will be called as retention, and if the product rotates toward the left side, it will be called as an inversion of configuration. Racemization is conversion of optically inactive racemic form into optically active D and L form, that is called as racemization or racemic modification. So student, this optical isomerism was a new discussion in your syllabus. Am I clear? I hope you must have understood. Since I am delivering the lecture at the level of a class 12, it's not an IIT level lecture, so I have limited my concept to the board level. There is still a doubt in the mind how to determine the right side or the left side rotation other than the polarimeter. But since the board or CBSE or NCERT permit me to teach this much, I have discussed as per the board syllabus. I hope you will be revising your work. We will meet again in the next lecture. Till then, thank you.